So hi everyone, welcome to our vlog. We are so excited to have conversation today with two fantastic women. We have Kristy Wallace, who is CEO of Ellevate, and we have Allison Matejczyk, who is Director of Corporate Partnerships for Ellevate as well. So welcome Allison and Kristy.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Of course. We're so excited to speak with you today and to learn more about you, your career journeys, and of course, Ellevate as well. So I'd love to start off with some introductions. If you could just give us a brief introduction of you and your career journey.
Sure, so I'll start. So I'm one of those stereotypical liberal arts majors who ended up in business and loved every minute of it. And right around the late 90s, when startups were cool and new and fun and technology was rapidly changing. So I moved from investment banking into a startup called Vault.com, where I ran all of our revenue products. So building the products, growing the teams, developing the relationships, the strategy around that. And then ultimately was the GM of our global operations. And we had a successful exit. And then I took about a year off to have my first child and to kind of decompress because it was a lot.
Sure, yeah.
And was on the founding team of another startup in the health and wellness space called Zeal. Was there for 3 years doing all of our fundraising, strategy, business development. And then was looking for more meaning and purpose. Wanted something I was more passionate about. I loved the team at Zeal and what I was doing, but wanted a career and work that was more fulfilling to me. I spent some time soul searching on what exactly that meant, and then ended up joining the Ellevate team. We were formerly 85 Broads, and I'd been a member of 85 Broads, so I knew about the organization. I joined the team here as CEO and have been loving every minute of it.
Wonderful. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And Allison would love to hear more about your career journey as well.
Sure. So my background is financial services. I graduated college and joined Citigroup, working for our chair, Sally Project. So we've been working together for over a decade, which is hard to believe, but built a great mentorship/sponsorship type of relationship. Moved to Bank of America with her back in 2009. Then after a few years at Bank of America, I transitioned into Merrill Lynch in the sales and marketing. Sally and I kept in touch over the years, and she knew I was looking for something different, but not quite exactly what, still trying to figure that out. When she landed on her journey with 85 Broad, she asked me to join the team, and it was kind of one of those opportunities that you couldn't turn down, once in a lifetime opportunity. So it's been an amazing journey here, going through the rebrand from 85 Broads to Ellevate. I've been able to tap into many different parts of the Ellevate business. And I've been managing our corporate partnerships for about 4 years now. Never thought I would be in sales, but here I am. It's great.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both for joining us. So excited to hear more about, what success looks like for you and what that means for you. This is something that I've been speaking with many people about, and I would love your take on what is your definition of success and how has that changed as you've progressed in your career? I know the definition has definitely changed for me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, success has evolved for me as well. As your world gets bigger, what success means starts to grow with that. When I was younger in my career, success meant getting the promotion, getting the raise. It was very linear. It was very focused on the upward trajectory. And then as I became more experienced, it was more about working with people that I liked, doing work that I was passionate about, feeling like I was directly contributing to the impact of the success of the business, learning new things and being challenged all the time, not being complacent. and finding the time and the ability to find a rewarding career, to be the mom that I want to be. I have 3 young kids at home, and to be the individual person that I want to be. And oftentimes, and I don't want to say it's balance because I don't believe in balance, but it's oftentimes, it's always at the expense of some, the success of one area of your life is at the expense of another area. So if you're successful in your career, maybe you're not spending enough time for yourself. And so for me, success is being able to devote some time, may not be equal time, and it may change, but to my family, to myself, and to my career in a way that is fulfilling, all of us.
Yeah, yeah. Allison?
Yeah, and success is not one size fits all. What works for Kristy and me and others on the team, or even, my circle of friends or even family members is very, very different. But at the end of the day, if you're happy and you feel fulfilled and you're doing meaningful work, that's success in my eyes. And again, it's just, I don't think you should box it in too much or have a set plan and set yourself up for failure. Like, have an open mind, and your career, family work can take you in many different directions, and success develops along the way in ways that maybe you would not have thought of 5 years ago.
Yeah. And Kristy, you made a great point about balance, so I'm starting to hear a lot more about, not so much about balance anymore, but it's about work-life integration and keeping all of those pieces, balanced in a way, but finding a way to make it work, which is what it sounds like both of you are striving towards.
It's a very personal thing, right? So sometimes when you hear conversations about work-life integration, you may hear someone who says, well, I'll leave the office at 5 so I can be home with my kids. But then I'm back online. There always feels that pressure to but I'm back online later, and to make sure I get everything done. And that's a narrative we need to strip out as well.
Yeah.
It's do your work, work at a place that values your input and your contribution, that measures based on quality of work versus base time or hours. Find a place that really is open to different work styles as well. Some people on our team are early birds, some work better later at night, but I don't think that it should feel pressure for you to fit some mold or for you to putting in the FaceTime. It should be just finding what works for you.
Yeah.
I like doing things, going through my emails on a Sunday morning. I don't recommend that to anybody, and I don't do that because that's, requirement of my job. It's just time when I work well, and it helps me start the week off a little bit less, no stress.
Yeah.
But it just becomes, we live in a day and age with technology that we really have the freedom to start to define a way of integration, as you say, that works best for you.
Yeah. And that's actually one of the more interesting thing about our community is that, people as they're re-entering or thinking about a career change is that you've gone through the thinking process, or we encourage people to go through that thinking process of knowing how you like to work, what environment you like to, having those filters in place in order to select, the right opportunity as it goes along. But I want to come back to Ellevate a bit, because I am an Ellevate member, and one of the perks for me, and the biggest benefit for me really has been building and growing my local network, which has been fantastic. So as, I'd love your advice, tips and tricks on networking, because this is an area, again, if you've been out of the workforce or have been heads down in your career and haven't made that a priority, people forget, and networking is often, referred to as kind of a dirty word, and it really isn't. But any tips and tricks you can share, Allison?
First off, just do it, make the time. And it does have a negative connotation. I see that a lot in the work that I do with the companies that we work with, that many women are apprehensive about networking. They're not comfortable. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you will get at it. And it has really evolved over the years. There are so many opportunities, whether it's really like intimate, small coffee meetups and connections, or more educational focused opportunities, especially through Ellevate. And then we have our virtual squads program. Mm-hmm. So it's not just in person anymore. And there's many different ways to network virtually, in the way that technology has improved. So it's finding what fits right for you. For some it may be in the morning, others it could be in the middle of the day, and for those few that want to do it in the evening, there's a lot of different options. So to do some research, find out what works, test different things, get out of your comfort zone, and try something new.
And I would also say that we're in the context of this conversation, when we talk about networking, it may feel that you need to go out and talk to a bunch of people in suits, and that's not the case either. If you are part of school, if your kids are you have kids and they're in school, your local community, your church, running groups, there's so many networks that we're already tapped into that we may not even be thinking of it that way.
Right.
So there's great opportunities within what you're already doing and the relationships you're already building.
Right.
To leverage that for career growth as well. That happened to me recently, where my son is in school, and I met one of the parents. We were on a class trip together, and we were hanging out. And lo and behold, we could be great business partners, and it just was not a relationship connection that I thought about in that way.
Right.
Starting to have the ask and starting to understand who are in your other networks can be very powerful.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you both. I want to touch a bit about a little bit of a different topic, which is workplace trends. So again, thinking about someone who's been out of the paid workforce for, X amount of time. On average, our members have been out around 5 years or so, but things change. Technology changes, and industries change, et cetera. But in general, have you seen workplace trends that people should just be aware of and just tuned into as they think about reentry?
Yeah, there's a lot of conversations around the future of work right now, how technology impacts the workplace, how the changing demographics in the workplace are creating different work ethics and different styles.
Yeah.
Definitely seeing more companies being open to flex work or working from home. You can, with a laptop, basically do anything. You no longer need the desktop phone and the big hard drive and the paper file system. It all is in one place. So that's becoming more powerful. Online video chats and things like that. We're seeing more programs that are looking to build pipelines of diverse candidates into companies. Companies are really starting to embrace more and more the power of diversity and what it means to have different ages, different races, different socioeconomic, but also different life trajectories, right? It's not so much the straight line anymore of, you started an assistant and then you're a coordinator and then you're a manager. People are leapfrogging all over and really creating a new landscape for the workplace. Through that, companies are becoming more intentional about how do we tap into candidates from different backgrounds. I know Walmart, for example, just signed a program with Path Forward, which is an organization I'm an advisor for, really looking to provide technological training and onboarding for candidates that are returning to work. There's Reboot Excel, there's On-Ramp Fellowship with Karen and Stacy, so there's some great things happening there too. I know this community is a huge resource as well. I would also say the future of work, what I've been hearing, is that you will not be working for one employer. So we're now looking at the gig economy, how we cobble together our careers by tapping into, I have an interest in crafting, I'm going to start a business around that. I have an interest in, I'm great on the phone, maybe I'll do customer service at this company from home. There's so many variances of not being tied to one definition of a career, not one employer, but doing many different things. And I would say the final piece is, there's a huge surge in women starting businesses. We've seen over 11 million businesses started by women since 2015. So there's a lot of ways that technology and the future of work are helping to support women by providing tools and resources for them to get ahead, to start those businesses more quickly and have that type of insights around the steps that they need to take.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We see elements of all of that. The gig economy is, it's liberating in the sense that you have a chance to pursue interests in parallel, which, and perhaps our parents' generation, you waited till you were retired to kind of take that next step, and you get to dabble, which is wonderful. So that's great.
I think my dad is a dentist and my mom's a nurse, and they've been doing the same thing at the same place for 45 years, but that was common. So much is changing, and we have the power to redefine what that is. Yeah, be at the forefront of it.
So this brings us to our to the upcoming summit. So I know this is your second Mobilize Women Summit, and would love to hear why you started this summit and what people can look forward to.
Our summit, we thought long and hard about why we were having a summit. There's many different types of events, some for professional development, some for networking. But in our space, Ellevate is a global community of professional women committed to closing the gender achievement gap in business. We want more women to get on boards, get into positions of leadership, to start companies, raise money, get into politics, all of the places where gender parity currently doesn't exist. One of the reasons that parity doesn't exist is because there's a lot of barriers and unconscious biases and ways that women and non-binary femme individuals are being kept back. It's perceived perception of, maybe it's a working mom, she's not going to be as dedicated, or it's a person of color and we communicate differently, and so I'm not going to maybe value that communication as highly. There's many instances. So we are really looking to do at the summit to break down those barriers, to have real, honest, transparent conversations around what it's like to be a woman, a veteran, person with disabilities, gender in the workplace, so that we can all become better advocates for others and for ourselves. And part of that conversation then is, how do we then take action? How do we get all of these different voices in a room, many voices that are oftentimes unheard? We have incredibly inspirational people at the summit, but they're not, out there all the time on the main stage. They're just working hard for equality and for the things that they're doing. We have one of the first women who is selected to colonize Mars, so creating new cultures, new societies. We have women in science and technology, transgender, disability advocates, hearing advocates. We have one of the U.S. gymnasts. Just talking about many different stories and perspectives so that we can all learn, we can all be inspired, but then we're all part of the action to create equality. And that's going to be a big part of it, is when we leave the room, what are the steps we're all taking to change the status quo? Because it hasn't been moving fast enough, and we're here to accelerate that.
Right, fantastic. Mobilize women. That's fantastic. Great. Well, thank you both so much for your time. Any last words for our community out there? Please share.
Join us for Mobilize Women on June 21st via live stream or in person. We have limited tickets left. You can buy tickets at ellevatenetwork.com.
Yeah, absolutely. And take it one day at a time. I think sometimes career change and life change can be overwhelming. So believe in yourself, be your own biggest advocate and role model. You can do it. And, just it's baby steps every day. And one day you'll turn around and see how far you've come.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again, and look forward to seeing you both at the summit. And thank you, and speak to you soon.
Thank you.